Time goes by, people change, the world changes, everything changes, and then a lot of stuff stays the same. Now, I hope that one of the changes that has occurred to me recently, which is within my mindset, a realization that being older and getting older sucks. For the most of my life up to this point, I've been a kid, and then I was a teenager, and then I was a young adult, and I still am a young adult, but I'm realizing that as I get closer to having to do stuff, be responsible for things, and just in general, it's not quite what I expected life was going to be like, and I hope it doesn't stay like this forever, but I feel like it will do. I'm starting to think that games are boring, and films are boring as well, as in, like, I can't find any film or game that can really capture my attention enough that I'm just thinking, like, yeah, this is amazing, or that I'm thinking about it all the time, which is what I used to have for games like World of Warcraft and RuneScape, or any MMO, or any MOBA. Really, anything that I've put like more than 1,000 hours into, it's probably something that was on my mind a lot in between playing it and being, I don't want to call it obsessed, but just having a hobby is what it would be. Having a hobby is what I would call that. But I come to realize that stuff like RuneScape and World of Warcraft is just a waste of time. You don't get anything back from it, so there's no point doing it. There's no fun aspect out of it, and there's no real reward. It used to feel rewarding, and it also used to feel fun. I mean, the PvP in World of Warcraft, some of the raids, and just doing the pet battles. There were lots of like really fun things to do in World of Warcraft, especially the Nagrand quests. You know, where you got to go and kill 30 Talbugs, and then you got to kill 30 of the other Talbugs, or 30 Clefthooves and 30 of the other Clefthooves. You know what I mean? Like, this fun gameplay element that. Well, that was a joke. I'm gonna just preface this because people don't understand when I'm making jokes. That was a joke. That's not fun. But there is fun stuff in there. It's just that it's so muted by all of the fucking boring, waste of time, shit, cunt, cancer, bitch stuff. Which is what RuneScape is as well. I mean, RuneScape has the nice quests and the world, the dialogue, the stuff that you can examine. Examining things is probably one of the most fun things to do in RuneScape, and I love it. I love doing that in RuneScape. But even that is not enough. You're in the middle of. I'm actually really pissed off because I was making a good video. What do you want? This better be good.
Do you want to go out?
No. What? When?
Like whenever Mano's finished his work on Sunday.
Out as in.
Gonna go out, look for nerd stuff.
What time will that be?
I don't know. When's the submission deadline today?
There isn't any.
Is there not one?
No, because Mike hasn't put one up there.
Could be any time though, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be ready to go. I need to have a shower before I go out of the house, though.
Okay. Sorry for breaking your flow.
It's fine.
What were you talking about?
RuneScape at the moment.
RuneScape. Talk about Blundell's sick cake.
Yeah, that's the next topic. This is why living in a house shared with people is bullshit. I have a friend who has a cape in RuneScape. Lots of people do. People have capes in RuneScape. That's what the game is about. It's a Capescape. I was in a clan called Capescapers. I think it was called Capescapers. I don't even know what it was called. I was in a clan in RuneScape. Going back to what I was saying though, the games are not fun. They're a waste of time. All you do, and all the reward you get out of it is a cape. Is it worthwhile putting hundreds, maybe thousands of hours into it? By the end of it, you've put like 200. I've put 200 days into my account, and my account is nothing on RuneScape. I'm just saying that now. My main problem with RuneScape, now this is a little bit of an off-topic, but I can get back on topic in a second. My biggest problem with RuneScape was that anything that you could get a year ago, you can get twice as fast now. So, well, that's an exaggeration, but the point still stands that the XP rate of things, like 5 years ago, getting a 99 in a skill would have taken maybe, I don't know how many hours. It would take a lot of hours, and now it would take less hours than that. So they're nullifying the achievement by making it easier to get. Now, in anything, it doesn't matter whether it's RuneScape or any other game, just making the achievement easier to get kind of nullifies the sense of achievement for the people who had it in the past, and the amount of time that they spent putting into it is even more wasted. Because at least if it was the same now as it was then, you wouldn't feel as if it was that wasted, because it's like, well, other people would have to put in the same amount of work that I did to get the same result. But now they can put in like almost no work and get 99 everything. So fuck RuneScape. Also, the fact that Jagex doesn't know what the players want when they got rid of combat, they got rid of PKing, or they ruined PKing. Then they ruined trading when they already had lowered their player base in half. Then they cut their player base in half again by getting rid of trading, and then they did it again with the evolution of combat. I mean, like, how shit do you have to be as a company to just be like, let's take away the big things out of the game and just put in some shit ones? But anyway, yeah, the point of that was that MMOs feel like a waste of time. Games just feel boring, like single-player games, multiplayer games, it's all the same. They're just not very fun and engaging. Like, as Jordan Peterson says, to find something that, while you're doing it, you feel meaningfully engaged, and try to live your life in a way that maximizes the amount of time that you spend doing that thing, or whatever those things are. You know, within reason, as long as you know, the things that make you feel meaningfully engaged aren't murdering people, you know, or anything just not very nice. And you can usually tell what's not very nice, because when you do it, you think, that was not very nice. Or if you can't, then society will tell you, hey, you shouldn't do that, that's not very nice. Then if you continue to do it, in fact, no, even if you do it, if you kill somebody, you get put in prison regardless of whether you knew it was illegal or not. Most of the time, that is. So, continuing on with what I was going to say. Yes, YouTube, because I wrote this down this time so I don't get distracted too much. YouTube doesn't recommend stuff good anymore. They've changed the algorithm so that all it recommends is just really poor quality. I don't know if this is just because there are less people putting good stuff on YouTube, or because the channels that I subscribe to are dying out, but there are a lot less good things to watch on YouTube, so it's not like you can just sit there and just watch YouTube all day and do interesting things like that. So nothing to watch, nothing to play. Same thing for TV shows and anime. I mean, I don't really want to sit and watch anime or cartoons that much anyway, but if there was something good that I could get meaningfully invested in and watch, I mean, like, I think last year I watched every episode of Futurama from start to finish, and that's supposed to be like a boring, time-filling TV show, mainstream TV show thing. 137 episodes in that. I watched all of them over the space of a week and a half. There was another that was because I watched Rick and Morty, and I was like, I want more space cartoon comedy. I was like, I'll watch Futurama, kind of the same, but it's not the same. It's just similar in that they go in a ship, and that's it, a spaceship, spacecraft. But doing that isn't good enough. TV shows and anime used to be engaging, not anymore. I just feel like the same thing happens as MMOs. Feels like you're wasting time. You want to be doing something more meaningful. So, what feels meaningful to do? Well, being productive, creating things, that feels meaningful to do. But in order to do that, you need to have some sense of energy and some sense of clarity of thought. I know this sounds bullshit, and people have a go at this, but I feel like you do need to be in the right mindset to be creative or to be productive. It depends what you're doing, but there's almost no point while your back is aching, your head hurts, and you just don't feel in the right mood to be writing. Like, you can't, unless it's like a skill that you can just train to do, but I've not really looked into it that much. I just don't feel like that you need to be in the right mindset and the right flow. Like, for example, my housemate just barging in there, knocking on my door, asking if I want to go out. That was annoying, but I can get back into the flow of this because I'm in the right mindset. Interruptions, they suck. That's another thing. That's another reason why I don't want to get too invested into anything, because I know at any point I can get interrupted. And interruptions ruin the flow. They ruin the cognitive process that are just going in like a single direction and spreading out and being thorough. They ruin that momentum. so distractions are one reason why I don't want to even try and start doing anything. The other is because I feel like shit all of the time. And I think this links back to what I said at the start of the episode. See what I'm doing here? This is like a clever thing that I'm doing. So at the start of the episode I said getting older sucks, and I think that has to do with something to do with getting older. Reminds me of like a Louis C.K. joke where he's talking like, he went to the doctor and he said to the doctor, like, something's wrong with my knee. I'm paraphrasing this heavily. He says like, oh, something wrong with my knee. He's like, what's wrong with it? Oh yeah, you have to just rub this thing on it like in the morning and in the evening. And then Louis C.K. is like, well, how long do I have to do that for? You know, how long is it going to be until it gets better? And then the doctor says, that's just it now. You know, that's just it. That's the rest of your life. You will be in pain unless you rub this thing on your thing morning and night. It's not going to get better. Just deal with it. You know, and that kind of hits me as like, that's just a thing in your life now. And it's like, you lose your hair. This is another thing of getting older that this happens to people. You going bald, like you lose your hair and it's like, when's my hair going to grow back? And then you think like, oh yeah, it doesn't, that's just it now. I'm just bald now. Your teeth fall out, like, oh wait, I wonder when my tooth's going to grow back. It doesn't. That's just it. You just don't have a tooth now. And that's like, it's like, oh, every morning now I wake up and I feel more tired than when I went to sleep. That's just life now. You know, it's been like that for the past few years. Spoken to doctor about it, multiple doctors throughout the course of the years. You know, I'd go like for a checkup like once every 2 years or once every half a year. I don't know, it's very irregular. I just go when when either my mum or my brother was going, I'd just go with them because like, oh yeah, doctors, go there, get a thing, tell them that I feel like I'm dying on a daily basis. See if they've got anything for that, you know, little anti-death pills, like, oh yeah, if you feel like you're dying, take one of these. Probably some kind of opiate or just anything that's strong enough to make you not care. But nah, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm dying. I just feel not as energetic as I used to, and I feel like you need energy to get stuff done. So there's entertainment. Entertainment doesn't entertain me anymore, and being creative just isn't an option while I don't feel energetic. So it's left me at a point where I don't have any responsibilities, so it's not like I'm trying to pass time anymore. I'm literally just in a space where I'm bored. Like I've got nothing that I can do. So the solution is then you start to think, well, what can you do when you've got nothing to do? You've got to start thinking solutions or orient yourself in a direction that'll get you to where you want to be, eventually pursuing it, or most likely get to that position before you can continue a lifestyle that's in line with what you're trying to achieve. So I don't know. One of the things I started trying to do is drinking coffee. It does help. Like for example, at the start of this video, I drank some coffee, gave me a lot of energy and put me into the right mindset. But I don't think that becoming reliant on coffee to function is a good thing. I try and stop drinking coffee, get a bunch of headaches. Apparently, you get a caffeine addiction, and withdrawing from that just gives you headaches. So like, what the fuck? That's not cool. That's just the thing, though. You know, that's just life now. Is it? I don't want it to be. I need to try and sort it out. I mean, at some point, not recently, but at some point, I was going to the gym for like a few months, thinking, oh yeah, for your mind to be healthy and for your body to be healthy, it's all as one, you know, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy body. You do both of them at the same time, improve one another. Didn't help. I still felt crap. I didn't get ripped either, but I think that was probably to do with bad balancing of testosterone. That's a wanking joke. Masturbation, fapping, jerking off. Yeah, throwing your testosterone balance out kind of ruins any gains and recovery that you're going to ever have. And also the fact that like I don't know how to rip my muscle. Like I've tried all kinds of different workouts and I seem to just get tired before I rip any muscle. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. It's weird. Like my body's like, all right, you just can't lift it anymore, but the muscle doesn't ache. I just get too tired. So I think that the fact that I'm tired all the time and aching all the time might be a problem. Try fix it by going to the gym. Didn't help because I was too tired to even do that. So I don't know. The doctor's analysis were, no, you're fine. There's nothing wrong. Did some blood tests. Tell them my general symptoms. For example, here's one. This is a great one. I'm thirsty all the time. They say drink more water. Next time I come, I say, I drink water and I'm still thirsty. Also, I piss a lot. Say, well, maybe you should drink less water if you're pissing too much. They didn't say the word piss. I'm sort of paraphrasing that. So it's a weird circle of like, oh yeah, if you're thirsty, you should drink water, but if you're pissing too much, you should drink less. And what do I do with that information? Do I just try and find the right amount of water to drink? What is that? How do I measure it? I don't know. They say you should drink 2 liters of water a day, but I mean, that's kind of a bullshit figure because everybody's body is different. Everybody's needs are different depending on the day, the weather, the atmosphere, the amount of water you've sweat out, and the amount of water in the food that you've eaten. So, what do you do? You don't do anything. You just fucking die. Like, that's what I'm thinking of doing. If you've got any suggestions, leave it in the comments below. But at this point, I'm thinking if this continues for like, I can probably stick it out another year. But if things don't get better for the next year, that's it. I'm just done. Like, it's not a case of depression. I just can't be bothered to be bored. It's laziness, really. I can't be bothered to put up with being bored until I die of natural causes. I can't be bothered to, let's just say, for example, that I managed to live up to about 40 years old. That's pushing it a little bit, but let's just say I managed to get to 40. That would be another 18 years of this shit, and I'm not willing to put in another 18 years of waking up and just laying in bed, back aching, my eyes stinging, my throat is all sore, and I'm feeling tired, but I've already been asleep for long enough. It's like, I've tried sleeping like 7 hours a day for a few weeks. I've been trying sleeping 8 hours, trying 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. I've tried different amounts of sleep. Doesn't help. Just always wake up with a blocked nose, a headache, my eyes are stinging, and I'm tired. Get up, and it's like, it kind of goes away over the course of an hour or so. But if that's life for the next 18 years, waking up feeling like shit, getting onto the computer, not having anything to do on the computer, not feeling like doing anything on the computer, and then going back to bed again, well, that is not my idea of a great life. Especially if you throw having to work in the middle of that. Because right now, at least I don't have to work. At least I don't have to actually do anything. Everything I do is kind of within my own willpower. Being forced into like stacking shelves or serving coffee to somebody is not it's not going to improve the 18 years of shitness. So learn from my example and don't live. That's my best advice. I don't know if that's valid. I'm not likely to kill myself because that takes a lot of effort and people go, oh no, you can't kill yourself. The only reason I don't do it is not because I think that people being like, oh, you shouldn't kill yourself, that's not a very persuasive argument, so I'm not listening to that as an argument. It's more along the lines of, I'm just too curious to see what could happen the next day. It's like, something good might happen tomorrow, but if it doesn't, something good might happen the day after tomorrow. But if it doesn't, something might happen the day after tomorrow, and so on and so on. So it's like, there could always be something good right around the corner. That's the one reason I've not killed myself yet. But as an update video goes, just letting you know, that's where I'm at with this, with life in general. I'm just thinking like, being older sucks, and I'm not willing to put up with it for a long time, but I probably will. So I'll make videos complaining about it. And also, if you can recommend me any games or films that aren't boring. Now, when I say that in the past, people have recommended me films and games that just are boring. It's not because they're shit games or they're shit films. It's because things just seem boring to me. Stuff that I used to like, I don't even like. Stuff that I thought I'd always like, and I should technically still like, I just don't. So, bearing that in mind, it's like, I can't even remember what I was saying. I just lost my train of thought. I got really thirsty, and I'll probably have to piss later. Yeah, I don't know. I might have an illness like diabetes or cancer, but if I do, then hey, but I blame the doctors and the people who do the testing to not being able to test for that. I was saying like last year or the year before and the year before that, oh no, there's nothing wrong, it's fine. And then eventually it turns out, oh yeah, you have like a tumor and you've got diabetes and you've got like a week to live. And be like, oh, thanks for that. I mean, I did try and tell you this like a few years ago, but whatever. I don't think it's an illness. I think I'm just bad at doing stuff that I want to do. Sometimes you get in the creative mindset and you sort of like, you think, wow, I could really do something creative right now. Be productive. Make a game. Just open up the Unreal Engine, throw in a bunch of placeholder assets and then... Oh yeah, I'm ill, so I'm like coughing as well. My hair's a mess. I need to go to Elegance in Hull. That's on Newland Avenue, I think. Throwing some placeholder assets into the Unreal Engine. Slap on some blueprint, make a game, but don't finish it. Start a project, don't finish it. Why would you ever finish a project that you started? That just means you can't start any new projects. And you don't want to hold yourself down like that. You want to constantly be in a sea of creativity. You don't want to hold yourself back with limitations like finishing a project or meeting a deadline. You don't need deadlines. Just set yourself a goal of, I'll finish it when I feel like it. When will you feel like finishing it? Probably never, but you might. That's the thing. You might feel like finishing it eventually. So just leave it hanging there, But if you don't feel like finishing it now, start a new project. Why not? If that's what your inspiration is heading towards, you're feeling it, you want to go for that new one, go do the new one. Fuck the old one. You'll get back to it at some point. So yeah, just go on to the new one. Rinse and repeat. Simple system. Get a bunch of projects started and finish none. What could go wrong with that? That's life. While simultaneously, up until the point where none of the projects you ever started ever get finished, and eventually you're 90 years old. Psst, I'm just kidding. You're gonna die at 50. You're 50 years old and you die, and then you realize, well, before you die, you realize I didn't finish anything. Then when you die, you think, I'm dead. That's about all you can probably think, other than the fact that you can't think anything when you're dead. Not yet. I mean, like I said, that's like 30 years away. Well, my generation, as in my peers, are all 20 to 25, so in 30 years' time, when we're about to die, will we have access to storing our brains digitally? Probably. It's very, very likely that we will. So that's probably going to be the thing. You'll be able to think when you're dead. What will you think when you're dead? Damn, I didn't do anything that I wanted to do because I started a bunch of projects and never finished them. Why didn't you finish them? Why don't you just go and open one of your projects and finish it right the fuck now? Well, I just don't feel in the right mindset for it. Well, what would make you feel in the mindset for it? Not being ill would be one. Not feeling like death as soon as you wake up would be another one. Drinking coffee, that's quite an easily accessible one. Or, this banana's out of date right now. Or at least it's a state where I don't want to eat it anymore. Eating a banana, usually good. Depends who you are, what you need. Banana's usually good. Coffee's usually pretty good. So, coffee and banana doesn't mix that well. So, try one or the other. Try spacing them out. But is shoving your body full of substances the right way to get to that mindset that you want to be at? Well, the answer is yes, of course. Filling yourself with substances is the right way to get to the mindset that you want to be at and the physical state, because your body is just chemical matter, cells, and your brain is like electrical signals and chemicals, and your body is just the rest of that. Essentially, essentially, what I'm saying is that you are what you eat, and that's about as simple as that. I mean, scientifically, it's true, like 100% true. Your body just gets replaced with the stuff that's in the food that you've eaten. So you are literally what you eat. But in the short term, you can change the chemicals that are released into your brain to give you different emotional states. So you can affect your emotional state and your motivations literally by the food and the drinks that you have. I mean, you can also do it with different drugs, but I'm just saying that repeated use of certain drugs can deteriorate you much faster than just drinking coffee, because coffee can actually be good for you. So yes, just substances, just doing that is a great way to get into that mindset more. But then you get into the little paradox. It's a very small paradox. It's not even a paradox. It's just a loop. So I don't know why I said it's a paradox. It's a loop. You get into the loop where it's like, well, I can't be bothered to go get a cup of coffee. So you think, well, because you can't be bothered to get the cup of coffee, which would give you the energy and the motivation to get the cup of coffee, but you don't have it, so you can't go get it. It's essentially what it is. You don't have it, so you can't get it. And that's life in general. Being older sucks, and not wanting to get stuff just because you can't be bothered to is another one. Mindset changes, positivity, chocolate. I think that's another good one to help you feel in a good mood, and just not being hungry. So some people say being hungry helps you, and some people say being hungry doesn't help you. In my experience, being hungry makes minimal difference, but being warm or cold makes a big difference. If you're sweating, you don't want to do anything, usually. If you're freezing, you really don't want to do anything. So you need to be at the right temperature, have the right substances in your body, and no distractions. Being guaranteed that you won't have any distractions usually means you've got to work at like 5 a.m. Well, between 3 and 7 a.m. That sort of guarantees you about 4 hours of uninterrupted stuff. If something interrupts you between 3 and 7, it's it's pretty unexpected, so you can kind of let it go. Another thing for me is like complete silence, as in like to get anything done, I need complete silence. Like right now, to do this, and this is fucking nothing. I need complete silence. To write anything, you need complete silence. When are you going to get complete silence? If you live in a city, you're not. If you live out in the countryside, like I said, not necessarily countryside, but just somewhere quieter, between 3 and 7 usually, or between 2 and 6. Pick your 4-hour window. That's when it's dark. But it's like, oh, it's dark outside, and they've ruined your sleeping pattern. Ruining your sleeping pattern ruins your mood as well. So, in addition to all of the substances, you've also got to fix your sleeping pattern. Except, if you fix your sleeping pattern, you won't be able to wake up at 2 and 6. You can only do that like once every 2 weeks. So you fix your sleeping pattern, then you do the 2 till 6. Then you got to fix your sleeping pattern again. So you can be productive for maybe 2 hours a week. Now, that's not actually too bad. 2 hours a week, and there are 52 weeks in the year, I believe, unless that's changed, which means that you can get 104 hours of productivity a year. So 104 hours of like solid productivity is that's actually a lot, because if you can type at 100 words a minute, let's just cut that back and say you can only write 50 meaningful words a minute. That's a low figure. you can get I've completely lost the maths on this one, but just imagine 50 words a minute for 100 hours. You can probably write like the next Harry Potter or something. Or you can write the script for some film, some videos. Or you can use that time to do some 3D modeling. You can do some 2D drawing. You can do some 5D science. So yeah, you can do some 1D thinking, some 2D drawing, some 3D modeling, some 4D science, some 5D audio work. That's about that. I think that sums that up perfectly. The different dimensions of creativity. That's for me. For me, being productive is only creative stuff. Like, are they doing science to discover something, or making something that you can share and entertain people with? I don't know what other ways there are to be productive. I mean, cleaning your room and helping people, but cleaning your room and helping people aren't necessarily things that you can do between 4 and 6 a.m. Usually because cleaning your room is a noisy thing. And in my case, my room is usually clean anyway. It's like, there's a limit to how much you can clean your room. I clean my room to the point where I can't actually clean it anymore. And I'm like, shit, I've got nothing to do now. Like, I've literally got nothing to do. Because I've already cleaned my room. My room is fucking clean. It's like, oh, I go clean the rest of the house. But fuck that. That's other people's mess. They deserve to live in their own mess. Now, that's a very bad attitude to have towards it. But the mentality is that if I clean up other people's mess constantly, it just means they are never going to learn. And I'd rather help them to learn that if it's messy and they want to live in cleanness, they have to clean their own mess. Like, I clean my own mess, clean my own room, clean my own mess that I make around the house. I'm not going to clean other people's though. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe I need to get into a mindset where I'm just so willing to clean other people's mess. Then I'll have something to do. Or then I'll not stop being busy. I'll have work to do constantly. And won't that be great? You know, cleaning up other people's mess, that'll be such a great way to live for the next 18 years until I die. Anyway, this video's gone on for longer than I expected it to. It was going to be a 2-minute video where I said there's nothing to do. I'm still dying, so like 30 minutes after the mark where I was going to finish, I'll finish now. Thanks for watching.